Hey, it's me, Dr. D. I'm back once again. And as I always say, it's been a minute. But you know what? In life, I'm finding that, things have to go in their prospective place and proper fitting for your life. And for right now, all I know is that there comes a time when I need to come on Facebook and share. Because those of you that know me, I take time in a few minutes because I know people have a very short attention span. So I'm going to get right to it. It's me, Dr. D, and I'm welcoming you once again to share with me language arts because words have meaning and they're creative. And as I've gone through since I last talked to you guys in my endeavors in learning and the things that I've seen, heard, and which has really stirred my thoughts. And as always with language arts, there's a word, right? And in my spirit, when I looked at myself and thought about what it is that I'm thinking I'm supposed to do, the question came to me myself. I said, are you ready? And you know what? That's the word, ready. And as always, I go to sources other than because that's what helping enhance your thinking and make sure you have the right understanding to check out what words mean, right? And also, you got to understand that there are different types of words. You have synonyms, antonyms, homonyms, and all those other nyms, including what mama nyms say. It all goes into your head. And with that information, you are the only one responsible for your life decisions because your life begins with every decision that you make, with every breath you take. So I'm learning now to do notes, you guys. So I'm gonna get ready here to read the notes because that way, when the notes are over, my time is too. So understanding what we need to know about the word ready, I went to the dictionary in Google. And I looked up the meaning of ready according to Google. And according to Google, it says being ready means being in a state of preparedness, equipped and willing to take action. It means having everything in order, physically poised to engage in a specific activity or situation. Preparedness is the core of ready. And as far as the core of being ready, of course, preparedness. Also, the other components, willingness, availability, and promptness, meaning you got to know what time it is. All right. And actually, understanding timing, I also go to the book of life. Yes, it's a book written in the beginning of history of mankind. And they call that book the Bible. Understand, it's not a religious book. It's a book of history. Because no matter what religion you are still breathing, which means you are still a human being operating through a spirit of some sort. But anyway, I won't go there. Let me stick to my notes. Okay, so according to the biblical understanding, I want to get into that as well. Also, on the footnote regarding readiness, when I talk about readiness, I want to give you a little example of how important being ready is. As look, think of it. We're talking about doing the work too now. Understand? As a matter of fact, that's my book that I had the blessed opportunity to write, and it's called Life Decision. Workbook. And so it begins. So our life begins with every decision that we make. So think of individuals that make the decision to join a branch of the military to protect the country, right? Well, being a human, you, or I should think that you want to know how it is to maintain a safe, joyful life for yourself and not have it coming into, something or someone comes in and interrupts, so you want to protect it. So that's what humanity entails. Why? Because we've already joined the troop of humanity. So no matter what auspices it comes to, be it military or humanitarian, we all have to be ready to protect ourselves and our community. Because remember now, within each of us, if we know this for a fact, if you remember me talking about the power of one, 1 times 1 is 1. And we always have to operate in the power of what we've been given, the responsibility as humans. Understand, one human. That is what we are. So, what, when it gets into even in the auspices of in the military, the buildup of how America is made, it gives us, we the people of the United States of America, 2 letters, WE, 1 times 1 is 1. All right. So also I go to, as I was saying, the book of history called the Bible, and understanding the meaning of ready in the form of readiness. The spiritual, let me look at my notes here. The spiritual meaning is in the Bible. Ready often means spiritual preparedness. Being ready for the return of Christ, or ready to fulfill his will. Now, for me, I'm concentrating on my part, as since I'm breathing, so he gives me the authority to do what? Dominate. So my focus is on part 2. Ready to fulfill God's will. It's about having a devoted heart, understanding the hope of the gospel, from the book of history, and being prepared to share it with others. Remember the military? Sharing the desire with others, because the army is not made up of one person. But anyway, let me try to stay on notes. Okay, so this is what we're understanding, at least for me, what readiness means: having a right relationship with God and knowing where we are. We're often telling God where we want to go. But the man or woman who is truly ready for God's work, remember, life is work. You have to work. In the one who receives the prize when the summons comes. Now, remember the core of preparedness. Why? Because remember the military, they get together and they are learned, trained, so that when the time comes, they will answer the call. And digging a little deeper, since to me the true essence of understanding words and that they're creative, the real deal when it comes to ready, the question is, are you ready? Ready for what, Dr. D? Are you ready to live the blessed life that you were purposed to live? Are you ready to get rid of those squatting, discouraging words that have set up camp in your mind? Because remember, the mind is the workplace that God gives us, the creator of life gives us, so that when it comes in our minds, words are creative. That's going to get down to our heart so that we'll have the desire to use our hands to do what it is that we're supposed to do. And if you're ready, then I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, truly. Because the worst thing, as far as I'm concerned, the worst words that a person can use is the words they use to themselves. Why? Because the truth is, if you're not looking into your own eyes and speaking the truth of reality of who you are, guess what? You're only lying to yourself. Who wants to do that? If you really do, Houston, we have a problem. And you need to DM me. But you're going to come in and we're going to pray about it first. And then we're going to get the work done. And almost oh yes. You know what? I'm going to say this though. I'm not going to apologize for using a little more time than I normally do. Why? Because time is the currency of life. And we, from what it looks like, you never know when you're going to run out of time. Because when you spend time, there is no refund. Think about it. So I want to leave you with these few thoughts. And you can use the book of history called the Bible to look things up too. Because all you have to do really is Google ready. And you can find a lot more than what I'm telling you right now. So, in conclusion, I want you to understand really the way to get through life is first be spiritually ready. And spiritually ready is not something that can be borrowed from others. It is a personal commitment. 1 times 1 is 1. Just even reading, there's a part in the book of life called Matthew 25, 1 and 3. And it talks about a scenario where there were wise virgins and other mindset virgins. And it's about when they were prepared, listen, with oil for their lamps. And each of us must be actively engaged in our own faith. Oil of faith. You understand what I'm saying? Oil, they had to have enough oil to get them where they were going. And we have to have enough faith to get us to where we're going. And guess what? The only person that knows where we're going is the creator of our life. And he gives us the mind to know what it is when we see it. Understand? Because we'll see where we're going. And we don't have to look back to see where we've been. Anyway, one more thing. When you get into spiritual readiness, there is something you need to know. Make a note. Personal responsibility. We cannot live off someone else's preparedness. Our relationship with God must be personal and intentional. Vigilance and watchfulness. The Bible calls us to stay alert, much like a soldier on guard, resisting temptation and remaining steadfast and unmovable in our faith. And that's Matthew 24, 42 through 44, and 1 Peter 5:8. Putting on the armor of God, Ephesians 6:10 through 18. It teaches us that readiness means wearing the full armor of God. Truth, righteousness, the gospel of peace, faith, salvation, and the word of God. And we are covered with a fragrance. And that fragrance, which DKNY has nothing on, is LWKU. Love, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Obedience and action. Readiness is more than a mindset. It requires doing. And the first requirement is that we obey our God, the giver of our instructions. Just like when you're in the military and the generals and trainers and the sergeants and all of that are teaching you, you have to be obedient to the commands that they give you, or else you either not going to make it and your family end up getting a folded flag, or you possibly, and I'm not being morbid, I'm being real. So understand the importance of readiness. As a matter of fact, when I talk about the synonyms, antonyms, and homonyms, and all them other names, well, let me give you a little bit of momonym, okay? And this is a momonym. It's better to start pumping the brakes and get ready for a rest stop, because there is a reason that you need to rest. But also, you've got to understand you are the only one that can take care of your business. It comes down to this. When you know one reason you should never put your eggs in another man's basket, because if he falls down, yours will break with his. So, know that it's all up to you. Just decide what you gonna do. Oh, what you gonna do.